Okay, we're talking about the upcoming mATX case from Lian. I got a preview of the case in its final form, and I'm going to show it to you before it launches. Welcome to Machines and More. Here on this channel, I cover a variety of PC building content, and a lot of that is in the small and medium form factor space. If you enjoy content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel and make sure you hit that like button too, because it really helps. Big thanks. Today I'm going to be talking about a case that Lian showed a concept of at Computex last year. It is their upcoming DAN B4, which will come between the DAN A3 and the DAN A4 H2O in size. So I didn't get a chance to catch up with Lian at CES this year, but I have good news that I got to jump on a call with them when they went to go check out their final factory sample. And a big thanks to Lian for their support in allowing me to share the details here. And, you know, this is basically the final proof. So what you see here, I don't anticipate too much will change. I didn't see it in person, so I don't have any detailed videos of it, but I do have some pretty good photos that I'm going to walk you through here just to give you an idea of what is coming down the pipeline. And I personally can't wait to see this case because it looks incredible, and I think it's going to check off a lot of boxes for a lot of users. So the case that we saw at Computex featured an aluminum wraparound with some round corners. That is no longer a feature of this case. It has these hard square edges, much like the A4 H2O, and I guess it kind of looks like a bigger Form D T1. It's kind of got that form factor going on. And it features toolless panels all around. We'll still shape shift between the horizontal or vertical modes. So it does look like it's going to be a little bit easier to build than what I saw previously. Estimated at 21 liters or so, mATX, but big aesthetic changes, right? There's going to be a mesh-only version. This is the wood-trimmed version. There's going to be a white one with a kind of beech wood-like lighter wood trim. And there's going to be a black one with a darker wood trim that looks like some type of walnut or something stained to look like walnut. Probably something stained is my guess. Wood panel versions are supposed to be targeted at $85 US and mesh only at $70, which is pretty aggressive pricing territory. So if it does land at that and the case works well, it is going to be very easy to recommend this one. So here it is with the panels removed. Take a look at the top first. We are going to have room for 220 millimeter slim fans at the top. This is a change here. And they're going to be including 2 fans along with the case. Depending on the components, such as your board and your power supply choice, you're possibly going to be able to fit 2 regular thickness fans at the top. But if you go with a power supply such as an ATX unit, you're not going to have much clearance for fan number 2, right? So this is why we have the slim fan spec from Lian. Power supply is going to mount towards the front of the case. So just take a look here. They've got it mocked up with 2 cage options. There's a smaller one for an SFX power supply. It will also fit SFX-L, which will give you the most clearance, or you can just do up to 140 millimeter tall ATX power supply. Those cables are going to exit towards the main board panel side, and there's going to be some room there for some cable management. You can probably tuck it behind to make it look neat. One neat little detail is, just like the A3, this will have a channel at the top for your AC power cable to route through, and that keeps things looking pretty tidy. But you have this articulating piece at the back here that you can plug your wall side cable in and then tuck it. This is primarily because the case can turn vertically, and so it can't protrude out too much. And there's plenty of little locations for zip ties and securing cables as well. At the front, you also have fan holes for 120 millimeter fans so that you can use that there, depending on your components. If you go with the SFX power supply unit, that's something you're going to be able to do as needed. At the top front-ish area, you have mounts for a 2.5-inch SSD, and at the bottom, you also have a set of mounting holes for a 2.5-inch SSD, or it looks like you can also fit a bigger 3.5-inch drive as well. And if you're not using those, you can fit up to 220 millimeter or 140 millimeter fans there if needed. And otherwise, there's going to be a dust filter that's going to go under it. And if you're converting or building up in vertical mode, you will be removing the bottom feet here. So the back of the case, there's some changes here. First off, it's this bracket that extends beyond the rear of the case. May look a little strange here. That is going to be a fan mounting location, or it's going to be where a 360 millimeter radiator extends into, because otherwise the main part of the case is not going to have enough length for a 360. A full radiator is going to need a little bit of extra room at the back, and that's what this provides. So here there's also feet for vertical mode that are permanently built into the back of the case now. You might be concerned about the looks if you're not going to be running it in vertical mode. They're at the back, so it's harder to see, but it is a convenient feature for those of you that do want to run it that way, because you can just turn this, with previously the backside down, and then the case goes into vertical mode. That motherboard and GPU, it's already going to be inset away from the back, or now the bottom, so that you have room for your I/O cables to plug into when the case is turned right side up or vertically. For those of you going vertical mode, you could consider the add-on trim kit, because it looks a lot more integrated and I guess meant to be when you attach the trim kit. It's just going to fit over what was previously the bottom of the case, and then you just turn the previous bottom now facing the front in vertical mode, because it has that wood trim, and that will run $30 from what I'm told, which is not bad considering you are getting a nice looking shroud. Plus, it relocates the front panel I/O to a more convenient location for vertical mode, and also that wood trim makes the case look very complete in the vertical position. Of course, assuming you got the wood trim case version to begin with, right? That rear bracket, it lines up to the radiator panel. The 360 would go right into that outset, and it fits perfectly there. I didn't get an exact number for how much room we have overall, but I was told the average 360 millimeter radiator should be fine, and I would also think they have their 360s in mind. A 280 will also fit on the side radiator bracket without too much fanfare, and smaller cases than this can fit 280s on the side, so this is not particularly unique here. That's good to know. And with that bracket, you can also flip it inwards so that extends into the case. Now, why would you want to do that? This probably is not going to make much sense for most users, except for when you need the case fan or even one of your cooler fans on your tower cooler to line up, and that way it streamlines airflow a little bit better in an air-cooled setup. So I'm glad that they thought of this. It seems like an elegant option and can provide better thermals in certain situations. Important detail, if you're air cooling, that spec is 166 millimeters now. And so before, in the previous one, I think it was a lot more limiting. I think 154 or something like that. That was being floated. But yeah, that's the case. Looks really good, right? And the pricing, $70 or $85 with that wood trim from a reputable case company. I think this is shaping up to be the 2026 small case of the year here. So stay tuned. I'm sure I'll be reviewing it. We're likely only a few months away at this point. Very exciting stuff, and I'm going to keep you guys updated. Make sure you are subscribed and give a like here. That really helps the channel grow. And big thanks for watching.